Good evening, fellow investors and traders. This is day 62 of Trading on the Record with your host Kyle Nero here. First things first. Today in the markets, anything can happen. I don't need to know what's going to happen to make money. There's a random distribution between wins and losses for any given set of variables that defines an edge. An edge in the markets is nothing more than a higher probability of one thing happening over another. And every moment in the market today is unique. Today I'll be successful because I'll objectively identify my edges. I'll predefine the risk of every trade. I'll fully accept that risk or I'm willing to let go of that trade. I will act on my edges without hesitation or reservation. I'll pay myself as the markets makes money available to me. I'll continuously monitor my susceptibility for making errors, and I understand the absolute necessity of these principles of continued success, and therefore I never violate them. I trade my system, stay the F out of the way, and I repeat. Good evening. I hope you had yourself a lovely Tuesday. Let's head straight into things and see where we are standing on our account. So currently, now please remember, as always, the numbers that I read out to you now is against yesterday's numbers, but you will be looking at the updated version as you're watching through this, because I'd have updated all my numbers after I've managed trades, entered new trades, etc. So I just like to always clear that out of the way. So at day 61, which was yesterday, our balance was at 104,582. We had an equity of 106,200. Our max drawdown never changes, 95,609. Our net profit was at the negative 1,651 with a negative growth of 1.55%. And contributions overall you can see on screen. Forex and oil being the better contributors, whereas crypto, metals, and indices was all negative contributors. So we don't simply take crypto, indices, and metal out of the portfolio simply because they're down right now, because that's life, right? Things are just like that right now. As soon as you stop trading those things, all of a sudden when the winners comes along, you're not there to take part of it, and then guess what? Forex again or oil has got their turn to go through a downside or down season or some drawdown. So we trade everything through thick and thin, good seasons, bad seasons. So as always, what we do before we trade is we always check out our calendar over at Forex Factory, simply because we do not trade news events. It is something that means that we've got much less control for something that nobody can predict. I mean, a news event goes a certain way and you think it would make the market go up. Well, not you think, the numbers suggest the market will go up, but it doesn't. It simply goes in the other direction, which means there's huge manipulation, and we don't take part of it when everybody else is taking part of it. It's as simple as that. So we stay out, and what we would be staying out tomorrow, let's just head over there, which is Wednesday, is definitely the Japan interest rate. That one is something that we do not trade with. Japan is concerned in terms of the yen, as well as on stocks or indices, and then pound CPI, not much to worry about there. We can trade through that. However, there's something I'll share on that, and then USD retail sales also, we can trade through that. There's no major thing that happens on there. Other than that, there is nothing else. Let's then head over to the markets and see what's happening. Current balance 104,582. Our equity at 104,176. And we've got a negative floating profit of 405 here. Let's just check in the history real quickly. So last trade, of course, was closed yesterday. It was the pound Swissies, and I don't trade this much. I don't only trade pound Swissy. If you're seeing this for the first time, this is just a total of a 2% position that we would have had going on the Swissy or on the pound. I can't quite remember, and I'd have been over leveraged in one of the currencies, and thus only afterwards realized when the trade was taken that I only risk 1% on the initial set of two, and then of course I opened the latter to make a full 2%. But that is the last trade that we closed in a loss. Euro NZD, we'll check that one out also. We closed it prematurely because of NZD GDT that came up today, so we're gonna have a look through that. And then of course, as always, I just run through the rest of the results. This one, I always say this is very fast, but I do it because I've been doing it for so long, and you can go check on the history of everything. And by all means, slow down the video if you'd like to check it out. So with time in mind, it's just like to keep these things short, and I know I can babble sometimes. So let's just do a bit of trade management quickly. So pound AUD, that is one of our long runners that we currently have. We've moved our stop loss way from break even already, and it is in a profit of about $700. So nothing to manage or see here tonight. We will be keeping and staying in that position. Then another one we are in, which is NAS. That one looks to be in a positive, and it means it didn't hit its take profit point yet, so we can go ahead and also stay in that one. Then silver, now also remember, this is a total, this 4 positions is a total of 2%, and I don't average more than 2%. It might look like a lot of positions, but that is just a lot size thing. So also silver, we're still staying in, so never mind that one. But this one, Japan 225, this one is gotten very close to our stop loss. So let's have a look at them, and yes, like a look at how close it actually came. Didn't actually hit, so thankfully we weren't taken out completely, and there's a little bit of a reprieve. So definitely this one we need to close. We've got the Japan interest rate coming up, and that messes up with things, so let's just go ahead and close that. I've jotted that down already. We're going to explain what that happened now, but I got a trade to take, so we're closing both of those in a loss. And then we do have a new trade to take in terms of NZD Swissy. I gotta be quick here because my timing is out. 0.96 for NZD Swissy. So let's just copy that real quickly, 0.96, and our stop loss on that is 978, and our take profit is at 652. We open 2 trades, so for the one we'd buy, for the second one we remove the take profit. So those are those 2 trades captured into position. Great stuff, lekker. Let me just do this real quickly. So now I should actually put the lines up where the Japan 225 was going. So that one is taken some drawdown. Definitely taken a bit of a bigger knock where Japan 225 was concerned there. I just need to look here quickly. So there's 2644. I'm not going to remember that. 26404. Japan 225, where are you? There we are. 26404. That's actually higher, but let's say it was about here where my no, it was right. 2644 must be in that direction, so just about there. So we entered a position here, so we lost a total of 4,373 pips, but in the other direction, because our stop loss rarely ever gets hit, it's only been hit one time so far for the full 2%. That was at 1,233 pips. That we count down as a save, irrespective of what might come. We just record that as a save because in trading you got to exit your losers for as less in as amount as you possibly can. That's just one of the biggest rules out there, no matter what strategy you follow. So that's where that is concerned. And this can flip like totally. This can really flip if you there right now. This guy can come against us tomorrow and would have taken out a take profit point, and just gone further to the downside, and we would have not have taken that 800 and that additional $100 and $200 loss. But that's a lot. And at the end of the day, that little bit that you just saw that we saved makes such a huge difference to the account. And it's only seen over the test of time, so stay tuned for that, please, because there's just so much in trading that I've learned that you can just see the mirror of it in real life, that you just gotta hang in there. So that is how things happen, and we just gotta brunt it out. So whatever this does tomorrow, if it goes in the opposite direction, my system says give it a go again and I need to re-enter, I am re-entering no matter what, because as much as we don't trade news events does move the markets as well. It's you can't go and put your stop loss at such an obscene amount that you are risking 30% or 20% or 10% or 5% just because a news event is coming around. No, you're going to kill your account that way. So we put our stop loss at a decent rate where there's breathability, but we do not do that at the expense of huge news events like the Japan's interest rates being released. They've bought so much government bonds and debt or things like that in this last couple of weeks, so I expect total craziness. Not too far away from now, because usually now in the course of this morning, Japan is of course awake already, that they will be that news event will come through, and it will cause major chaos. Might go in another direction that we needed or did not, doesn't matter at the end of the day. The end of the day, it does matter though that if I get the position to go, signal to go again, I am going, even though I just lost nearly 1.5% on that trade. And we're risking 2% per trade. So yeah, I love opportunities like this, and now I can carry on and rant on a little bit too much sometimes, but it is of utmost importance that we talk it through, because there's just so much psychology that goes down into the thing that you just can't pass the opportunity by to talk about. The other one that I wanted to talk about was Euro NZD, and if we just go quickly into the history before this one, yesterday, besides pound Swissie closing, we also closed Euro NZD that was in a profit, and we do not trade the NZD GDTs news event, so we needed to take our profit off the table because it wasn't far enough yet for us to absorb whatever the market would have thrown at us. So basically we would have been taken out completely, because at this line here is where we entered essentially, and at this last line that I'm putting up here now, that is where we closed our position yesterday. So we took a profit there off the table, about $421 as you see on screen, but we converted into pips, 95 pips we then banked, and if we hadn't have exited, we would have gotten this ugly candle that would have just completely taken that little 95 pips and $421 off the table. What did it have done to my account then? Then we would have been sitting on a balance of 102. Where's my math? 400 or 300 or something like that. It just keeps on chowing into the profits. So that is why we follow the system. This is why we do not trade news events. So it's unfortunate that the Japan 2-5's interest rate is coming so close to the time that I got the entry for the Nikkei. But I follow my system, and my history, my back testing, my proof that I've done, my experience has shown that it could be a day before, 2 days before. We never know what the market is going to happen. So we trade our system, we stay the F out of the way, and we repeat. I thank you. If you've listened through all of this, I hope you have yourself a lovely evening. Just needed to check if there was something real quickly that I might have missed or forgotten, and I don't think so at all. We've spoken about all the markets that there was. We've ended the trade that we needed to. Oh yes, there was the other trade that that was also a possibility, and that was pound Swissy. And I remember we just got off a pound Swissy loss yesterday. And then just the day before that we also got off the NZD Swissy loss, and both of them was for a buy, and both of them came up for a buy again this evening. So we would have entered over here for pound Swissy, and NZD Swissy we did enter right now. There's a trade you saw me just capture, but usually, if you're going to risk 2% per trade, and it must be something that is part of a diversified portfolio, and I'm not diversified if I'm entering a position on NZD Swissy and on pound Swissy, because on the other hand, the item that I'm buying, the item that I'm selling is the Swissy, pound Swissy and NZD Swissy. So what does that mean? It means if the market goes against me and I risk 2% on NZD Swissy and 2% on pound Swissy, I've defeated the purpose completely. Because then I might have just opened one position and risked 4% on it, which makes absolutely no sense. So that is what we call diversification when it comes to forex pairs, because you are over risking yourself, and this is why essentially what I would do, I would only risk or work my lot size out to be 1% on the pound Swissy and 1% on the NZD Swissy. So the reason why I didn't do that tonight, and this is what I wanted to bring under your attention, was although we trade the pound CPI, and it's not a major indicator or major mover, where even though it's a red flag, the history shows that it's not, but because there is no NZD except that one FPI news that's coming through tomorrow, it's only pound CPI. I would rather put my 2% on NZD Swissy, because there is a news event in the pound that's happening, and if there is anything that goes mad with the pound is concerned, at least I'm protected in terms of New Zealand, which doesn't have anything where market manipulation could be taking place in terms of there's no news events for the New Zealand dollar for tomorrow or for this morning. So yeah, that's how we work that one. If I haven't spoken about before, I don't think I have, or I didn't have such a great example as I did have right now. So yeah, I just wanted to talk through that. But just because I closed the NZD Swiss a couple of days ago when we entered over here for a loss, doesn't mean I'm not re-entering when my system is telling me to go again. Just because I closed the pound Swissy last night or a couple of nights ago also for a loss, it doesn't mean that my signal to go in for this trade again was not valid and I could go along. We take the trades as the system gives it, without delay, and this is why I always repeat that thing. You might be bored of it, I might not get any views because of it, but the true guys, the true women that is going to be taking up my mentorship will realize the importance of it, and even the long-term traders out there might be following, you might be frustrated with the current system or strategy or psychology or money management that you have. And I've been doing this for a long time to know strong enough that where my head is at, it is thorough. I've worked through a lot of the creases, and not to say there's not more coming. I've just come to understand that with the principles and the value and the system is concerned, I never veer from it, because it has treated me well. Will do, and you will see at the end of this account whether it does or does not. Our system needs to be followed. Thank you so much. Have yourself a lovely evening. Cheerio.